What's up, it's Matthew, and welcome to my Day 1 Maggot King guide. Please keep in mind that since this is Day 1, things are rapidly changing. We're finding more and more out about this boss every single hour that the boss is out, so what I say today may not be the most optimal way to kill the boss tomorrow, but it will help you get comfortable with the boss and get you your first couple of KC. Maggot King has an 80% fire spell weakness, so we want to take our best gear to autocast from the standard spellbook with our best fire spell runes. So you could take a Twin Flame Staff like I have here, but you could go up to a Harmonized Nightmare Staff if you'd like. Additionally, you can take the Tunic and Shadow. It does do well, and I got my first couple of KC with that, but the fire spells are also very, very good. We also want to take a reasonable melee switch, prioritizing Crush, because there are mechanics during the fight where the boss will walk up and you will be able to melee the boss. Other than your gear, you want to make sure you either pre-pot or bring with you some form of poison protection, like an extended anti-venom or a Sandfew serum. And then for the rest of your inventory, I recommend your boosting potions as well as primarily brews and restores while you're learning the boss, because you will take a lot of damage while you're learning. To get to the Maggot King, after Blood Moon rises, use your Draken's Medallion to teleport to Castle Draken. If you don't already have this unlocked, you can go back through the Myrkey hideout to the center of Castle Draken and pray at the small blood shrine in the main room. From there, you can use the teleport on your Draken's Medallion to get back to this location. From here, you take the blood portal to Vampirium. You run directly to the east all the way through Sangvesti across the bridge. And then to the northeast, there's a small agility shortcut you can take, or you can follow the winding path to this entrance between the trees here, but don't go in quite yet. Before you go in, make sure you pre-pot your boost potions, your anti-venom, and whatever other pre-potions you brought, and then you can walk in. You always want to go in praying range with your mage gear equipped and start attacking the boss. The boss will be shooting projectiles at you, and then when they hit you, they will explode and splash onto two adjacent tiles. They'll cast a shadow on those tiles so you know to step away from them. So once you see the projectile hit you and the shadows cast onto adjacent tiles, take a step to any other tile and you are good to go. Once the boss reels back and looks like it's about to roar, you want to turn your overhead prayer off. If you have any overhead prayer on, when he roars, you will take damage. And then watch for the shaded tiles from the boulders that he throws outward. Now, it's important to avoid the first throw that he makes, but also, once those boulders hit the ground, they will explode into additional tiles. It's okay to get hit by these. They do about 5 to 6 chit damage. It's not that big of a deal. Every time he roars, he will also change the style he's attacking with between range and mage. So once he roars the first time, you're going to pray mage. Now, all of the projectiles he shoots at you will continue splashing, but instead of doing poison damage, they will do a disease damage. When the boss roars, it can also throw a maggot onto the arena that will move left and right on one row for the duration of the fight. You can choose to ignore these if you'd like, that's what I do, or you can kill them because they have about 30 HP, and you can use those for death charge if you end up taking Arceus Spellbook instead with the Shadow. If a maggot walks over one of the tiles that has a broken boulder piece, it will eat it and it will kill the boss for 1 health. If the maggot hits you, it will do ticking damage to you until you step off of the maggot, so make sure to avoid staying on top of a maggot because it will drain your health very quickly. That is all you have to worry about until the boss hits 1000 HP. So every time it roars, turn off your prayer, and then when you turn your prayer back on, switch between range and mage, and avoid any shadow damage as much as you can, and the maggots. Now once you hit 1000 HP, what will happen is when the boss roars, it will actually come up within melee range. This is where things can get a little tricky. The boss will no longer be ranging and maging you, but instead slamming the ground with ground damage. The ground damage is 3 columns wide, so just make sure that when you see the shadows, you step out, and when you want to attack the boss is right after you step out. So the boss will slam its neck down across the entire arena 3 columns wide, and you can actually hit that boss's neck from any of the rows. So you could be standing on the furthest back row and still hit the boss. The timing I use for this is I take 1 step on the same tick that the boss attacks, and then immediately click the boss to hit it back. Once the boss is slammed about 4 or 5 times, it will then roar again, where you need to turn off your prayer, and it will back up and start using projectiles again. It will continue to use the projectile opposite of the last one it was using. So every time it alternates between mage range and then hitting you with melee, just remember that it will always still keep switching between range and mage with each time it goes back to start attacking you. When you hit the boss to roughly 300 to 400 HP, it will then come up to melee and it will just stay up front meleeing you for the rest of the fight, where it will slam, you need to dodge, hit it with whatever weapon you brought, and continue dodging and hitting it, and making sure to turn prayers off for roars if it roars. Again, the timing here gets a little bit tricky, and you have maggots going back and forth on every single row at this point, but once you get the hang of it, I promise you can do this fight by taking very minimal damage, and you can do multiple kills in one trip. And that's pretty much it. The best way to learn, especially on day one, is just to get in there and give it a try with the knowledge that you have. Again, things are constantly evolving and constantly changing, so this guide may well not be the best way to kill the boss here in the next week, but hopefully it helps you get your first couple KC. If you have any feedback, questions, or comments, please let me know down below. I am happy to answer and help where I can. You can also join my Discord. I have the link in the description if you want to come chat about the new update or ask questions there. If this guide helped you get your first couple of KC, please consider leaving a subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And until next time, see you later.